Hello and welcome back to our course on Tableau. In today's tutorial, we will look at our brand new business challenge as well as learn how to create step and jump line charts. First, let's start off by having a look at our business challenge. So we are looking at the New York State salary analysis. Now, you are required to build a visualization within Tableau to enable the analysis of average salary across industries for the state of New York. The analysis needs to have the following. Firstly, an average annual salary by county, which needs to be displayed on a map. We need to show the top 5 highest earning industries by county. And lastly, include a time series analysis of the average annual salary per county. Now, the client had some specific requirements, and they've mentioned that they do not want to see separate graphs on different sheets and also don't want to work with a dashboard. So some limitations there. Now, they mentioned that they would like all information contained within a single sheet with pop-up charts while the map is being explored. So we'll have to be innovative here. Let's have a look at the data that we are working with. So if we have a look, we can see that the file is called the Quarterly Census of Employment and Wages Annual Data beginning 2000, and this is a CSV file. If we have a look at it in Excel, we can see that it's got quite a number of rows if we scroll down, and we have information relating to on different levels of granularity. We are obviously only interested in the average annual salary, so we'll be ignoring the establishments, the average employment and total wage. We've got a year that it's for, so that will help us to build our time series analysis. And then we have in 2 fields here called the NAICS and NAICS title. Now, those are the North American Industry Classification System titles. So what that means is that it has different levels. So for 1 character is your highest level, 2 characters like a 1 and a 1 would be your second level, 3 characters your third level, and so forth. So something that has 3 characters and starting with a 1-1 would be related to agriculture there. So crop production, these 4 or 5 would be related to that. So we need to factor this into account when we work with our data to ensure that we work with the right level. Another complexity with this data is we've got different area types. So we've got state, we know we're looking for county, we found county, and there's a whole bunch of different levels again of granularity that we work with. So we've got our area type and then the area that relates to. So we'll have to do a bit of data cleaning once we import this into Tableau. So talking about that, let's open Tableau. We will connect to this quite easily, luckily this time, by just using the text file, because we know it's a CSV, and we will just open it. We can see it read in properly. There's nothing strange happening in this file, but now the cleanup needs to happen. Now we know the area type we're looking for is only county, so we can just add a data source format by looking at the area type and saying we only want county to be included in there. All right, and we can just change our area now to be called county. And we also know that this is a geographic role, so we can just change it right now and change it to a county. Not a country, but a county. All right, then let's look at the NAICS codes or the industry. So I'll just rename this the industry because that's what we'll want in the end of the preparation of our data. But we will need to make sure to exclude everything on specific levels. And for this specific one, level 2 will be more than sufficient. So that will be everything with 2 numbers there. And actually, let's change this to a string because it's not really a number. We won't use this as a number. So when there is 2 characters in the string, we would like to see that level. That's agriculture, for instance, and utilities and construction. We don't really care about the lower levels, and we don't want to go up 1 level. But how do we tell Tableau to only look at this level 2? So we can easily do that by creating a calculated field, and then we will just call this level. And then we'll use the len function. So the len function is for string functions, and that's also why we changed that to a string. And if we just look at what len does, it returns the number of characters in the given string. So it just basically counts the number that's there. So for instance, that is level 2 because there's 2 characters, that's level 3 because of the 3 characters. And that's exactly what we wanted, to add yet another data source filter on level, where we just want to see level 2, so we can exclude 1, then we can exclude 3, so just 2. And that reduces our information significantly in terms of the number of records. And we did mention we don't really want these fields, we won't really work with them, so we can just hide them, and that is what we'll work with. So we've got our area type, which we know is county, we've got the county name, then also the actual level of the code, which we're not going to use in the visualization but is needed for the data cleanup, and then also the industry, the year, and the average annual salary. Now let's actually create our first chart as well without further ado. So if we go into our first sheet, we'll be looking at firstly creating the time series analysis. So for that, we know we need to put a year into columns because that we want our time series to run from left to right. And we know we want to have the average annual salary. We can put that into rows, but not aggregated to sum, but aggregated to average. And we know that we can now see that what the average is over all counties, and we'll break this down later on into each specific county. But for now, this is our chart. But what we know that the client wants a specific detail on is this trend over here. And it's nice to see the overall trend, but it's not easy to distinguish, you know, what exactly the jump has been, or the amount of increase or decrease has been, or even any decrease as well. We know there's one over there. So in that case, we could obviously go into our path and change the line type. And this is where we found our step and our jump charts. So if we look at step, for instance, you can see it literally creates a resemblance of steps of a building. So where it's easy then to see that where there was an increase in both these years, there was a bigger increase in 2003 than there was in 2000. So this works really well for discrete measures where you want to see the impact. And even there, look how interesting that is. There was a decline, and we would not have seen that if I just undo that to our previous chart. That almost looks like a straight line. It doesn't look like it decreased. And the same we can do obviously with the jump lines. But in this case, I think this will look better for our visualization. And then we can just call this our step line chart. As simple as that. And in the next tutorial, we will be building the rest of the visualizations and combining these and see how we can use tooltips to our advantage in answering this brief. I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, happy analyzing.